Abhi, what is a common mistake you see companies make when creating sales playbooks?
Yeah, I think first of all, they don't even document it, right? That's
Mm,
the biggest mistake I've seen. The knowledge of the playbook, what works, what are the best practices, floats like a tribal knowledge within the
mm-hmm,
rock stars or like the existing employees of the company. So it doesn't get documented.
mm-hmm,
Second is even if it gets documented, there are different versions of that playbook that gets floated around. There's
mm-hmm,
nothing centralized. Some of the marketing teams try to create it, but if you don't have a dedicated sales enablement function, there's no custodian of like that whole playbook and maintaining it because it's very dynamic. One more thing about playbooks is that it evolves with time, right? That your company evolves, your product matures, the GTM insights develop, the competitive landscape gets evolved. So you need to continue to evolve those playbooks along with it. And if it's not centrally managed and somebody's not project managing it, it gets even more difficult. Another thing I've noticed is lack of peer-to-peer collaboration because
mm-hmm.
there's so much
Yeah.
of insights. If you look at the field level where reps are dealing with the market, with the customers, with the competitors, they get a lot of intel. Now that intel doesn't get passed on to like a central team who can probably develop the playbooks, evolve it in a much more systematic manner. So there are like different versions of these playbooks with like everybody has their own way of using it or a version of what they use. And lastly, even if let's say if you're able to create a playbook, second you're able to like make it more collaborative in terms of
Mm-hmm,
peer-to-peer collaboration. You have a central team who's managing it. You have a sales enablement function that maintain its for the dynamic an aspect of the playbook, but you
mm-hmm,
still can't operationalize it. Right? A lot of people
mm-hmm,
then try to implement it within CRM, but CRM adoption itself is like challenging, and then to add to it, like playbook adoption has its own challenges. So one big thing I've seen, which becomes the hardest problem to solve, is how do you get people to adopt these playbooks?
right.
How do you, and even if you force an adoption or you get some sort of adoption, you don't know who is adopting, who is not, because that intelligence is not there.
Mm-hmm,
You don't get visibility around how your playbooks are getting used, what's working, what's not working. So that's a big blind spot. That's the
mm-hmm,
hardest to solve, and that's the problem we picked up at Nektar. That we help organizations document their playbooks. We help them collaborate internally, peer-to-peer level, and then we are able to operationalize them with like a very deep CRM integration and a workflow integration on
mm-hmm,
the tools people use, and then bringing an unprecedented visibility and intelligence to the sales reps, to the managers, to the leadership on what's working. So a true playbook intelligence, if you may call it, of sorts, is what we are doing. So that's the problem we identified, and we are solving it as well. Yeah.